Hey, Melissa here from GirlGoneFishing. I'm up at East Harbor State Park Campground Ramp. I've been up here since Friday because I had a tournament this past Saturday and I have a tournament this upcoming Saturday. So I decided to take my week of vacation and just stay up here and practice. I mean, you know, having this as your backyard because I'm staying in the campground. Wind's going to kick up to about 12 today, but the sun's going to come out. So it's going to be a beautiful day, and let's get out there and enjoy the sunrise on the water. My favorite thing in the world. So those of you who follow my channel probably know that I got my Hobie Lynx from Strictly Sail Kayak. And that's owned by the Tacey family, and Brian Tacey is one that helps me out a ton. And he said, try sideways launching. So he said, this way you can get your whole kayak in the water. So here's the ramp, here's the water. Instead of launching like this and like scooting out into the water, like dragging it across the ground and braiding the bottom, this way you're sideways, you're in the water. All you have to do is launch and push off and you're floating. So, Brian, I'm learning. Thank you. I have to change legs though because a few weeks ago I got hit while I was skiing and screwed up my knees really bad. I got torn meniscus, sprained PCLs and stuff. So I don't want to push off on that leg. My right one isn't quite so bad. Zipping the pants so they don't fall off when you launch is a good idea too. So many things to remember. Sometimes I get pretty hard on myself about not improving fast enough. And I think mostly what I'm basing that on is tournament results, which will come, but I started from such a deficit of knowledge and experience that I really feel like I have to give myself a little more slack for learning time. Because when I just launched, I just realized I'm so much better at everything than I was even just like a year, definitely better than like 2 years ago. Like the easiest things, like launching the kayak, getting the rudder to go down. Like there's a technique to pull the cord, I just couldn't get it. Like getting the pedals in, getting the GoPros to work, like everything, getting things packed in my car. I mean, everything is smoother, faster, and improving. And with that efficiency, I think will come fishing results. You know, like once I'm more efficient in handling my equipment, my tackle, I will be better on the water. So I have to give myself credit for getting better in like a million little ways. And eventually I'm going to have faith that it's going to add up to fish. But in the meantime, I'm going to enjoy this sunrise on the water. Oh my gosh, this is absolutely my favorite. So I've been trying a buzz bait every day I've been out here and it hasn't worked yet. I just really feel like it should. I feel like buzz baits work in pre-spawn. I mean, according to my research, I don't think I've ever caught a pre-spawn buzz bait fish, but I want to, and I think I can. Gosh, I'm so grateful for this opportunity to actually practice and learn this stuff. I've never had an opportunity to go out in my kayak 3 days in a row. This is so cool and so fantastic. Like when you go in the National Trail, they are 2-day tournaments. I mean, sometimes they might be 3-day tournaments, but I've only done that twice. I did a Hobie tournament and a KBF tournament that was a 2-day tournament. And then our little tiny Cincinnati Kayak Fishing Trail did a 2-day tournament of champions this year, which was so cool. And I practiced a couple times, like maybe twice on the day after a tournament, but man, it is awesome. I gotta tell you though, there are some sore muscles and my hands hurt. I'm so torn up and cut up, like everything burns. Wouldn't trade it for anything though. This is so cool. This is really cool. I just found something on the screen and there it was like weird and lumpy, and then there was fish, and so I cast at him. Oh my gosh, it's a bass. I just found a spot. Oh, it's not a bass. Gosh darn it, it's a drum. Oh man, I'm so disappointed. Dang it. Well, I thought I found a secret spot, but I found a drum. I think I'll go ahead and make a couple more casts to this spot and see if maybe the bass are mixed in with the drum. Yesterday, on like 4 of the spots that I've marked that I've caught bass here in the past, I caught pike. So clearly the fish mingle that way. Bass and pike like the same spots. So maybe drum and bass like the same spots. Let's go see if we can find out if there is a bass mixed in with all those drum. So I think my camera might have been turned off and I might have missed that bass catch. So let me catch you guys up. I cast right back into that place where I caught that drum, and first cast I hooked that bass. So that is a great news, and I'm moving off that spot because that is a good potential for Saturday. I'm excited. So I lost my trailer on that last bass. So I've got my Mini Max with no trailer, and here's the trailer that ripped off. I tried to reuse it. It is a, oh gosh, maybe a 3-inch Kegg, the one with the ribs. I used to use just the Easy Shiner, but I've been moving over to the one with the ribs. But here's the problem, I don't have any of these with me, of course, so I have the smaller version, which is quite a bit smaller, or I have the Easy Shiner ones, which just don't have the ribs. I'm going to start with the smaller one, operating on the theory that while it's a smaller trailer, the ribs on it will cause more water dispersal, like water movement, and give a little more action to it. So when I stick those on there, I usually do it when it's a paddle tail, I do it tail down. So one of the things that I really wanted to practice when I was up here and I had some free time on the water was fishing docks, fishing marinas, because I just have very little experience with that and I usually avoid it because I'm horrible at it. So I thought this would be a good time to practice that. It's usually find the grass, find the bass, and the grass is everywhere. So you just cast and you catch stuff. Bass, pike, drum, everything in the grass. But right now it is towards the end of April and there is no grass yet, like very little grass. So why wouldn't the fish go over to the docks or the rocks or the seawalls? Because that provides cover, structure, whichever of those is man-made, you know, but you know, with no grass, what else are they going to do? So I'm going to go over and I'm going to throw out some of that stuff. I definitely want to at least check out these. Look at this. I mean, if I was a fish, you know, with no grass, everything else is completely bare, and then you have this. So I'm just going to test my theory on a couple little things, and you know, I'm still graphing around, learning stuff. This is so cool. I love this. The UV index is really high today, and I've got like 3 more days to be out here, so I do not want to get sunburnt. I love this stuff. It's Neutrogena, it's got 60 SPF, it's fragrance free, sensitive skin. I can't stand like dyes and perfumes and stuff. I'll sneeze all day, I'll itch. So these docks have a little more depth on them than the other docks I was fishing. Those docks were in like 3 feet. These docks are 5.5 right on the outside. Obviously it gets shallower as you go in. So I'm throwing a Strike King KVD 1.5 square bill. This one happens to be Phantom Perch. It's probably not the best choice since there's only like 6 inches of visibility, but it was what I had in perch, and there's little perch everywhere around here. So I'm trying to throw it in the shadows of the dock. So I'm just going to go down this row and throw it down the shadow side and bring it out and see if I get anything. I'll be honest with you, I usually avoid this. I don't know why. Like, I think I've got hung up so many times that I've just subconsciously decided to avoid them, but that's terrible because that's where the fish live a lot of the times. So maybe not necessarily on this lake, but you know, in general, you're gonna have like a nice little dock with some shade and you're gonna have a fish hanging out down there. So I need to learn to throw stuff. Like when I learned to fish in California, I would throw a wacky worm to that with no problem, and now I just don't. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I'm gonna start. I'm gonna fix that. I think I spent so much time trying to do what I think is right that I've completely screwed up my ability to fish. Having a little time to kind of like, you know, figure things out again is just so invaluable to me. This is so amazing to have this time. I'm learning so much, it's crazy. People always say time on the water is what's important to learn, but I don't think that most of my time on the water is in tournaments, and I don't know that that's the most valuable way to learn, you know. I thought that putting myself out there in the pressure would be the best way to learn to fish, but I think I was wrong. I think I need to definitely make as much time as I can for days like this, where there's no pressure, there's no expectation, there's no rules, and I just go out and figure things out without fear of failure. That's the huge one. Although honestly, you should never be afraid of failure. You should embrace the possibility of failure and strive to do better. Something like that. But I mean, honestly, that is a thing. If you go into something afraid of losing, you're probably in big trouble. You cannot go into anything being afraid of losing. Just do your best. That's really all you can ever ask of yourself. As long as you put forth 100% effort, everything else is, you know, is what it is. Look at the brand new fuzzballs. Proud mom and dad. Oh, they're such jerks when they get older, but gosh, they're cute when they're babies. Oh my gosh, it actually worked. Check it out. So I caught that fish on a weightless fluke, and that's something I fell in love with a few years ago. I was really stubborn and didn't want to learn it, but once I figured out that a weightless Senko was awesome, it was an easy transition to like incorporating a weightless fluke. So I cast back into that shadow, I let the fluke sink, and because it's weightless, it sinks really slow, and the fish got it. So it was awesome. So here's what I do. I use an EWG hook, usually a Gamakatsu or a Mustad. Recently I've been using one with like a grip on the end. So I think this is the Mustad KVD grip pin, but the Gamakatsu is good too. And just an EWG hook. I believe this is a 3/0. And then currently my favorite one is the Berkley flat nose jerk shad. And then you just Texas rig it. So start upside down. I've got the belly of the fish towards the eye of the hook right now. And I'm gonna go in just a little bit, and then I'm gonna let the hook come out under the chin of the fish. And then we're gonna push it all the way up, cover the hook keeper, and then twirl the fish around. Then I'm gonna pull the fish down and measure where the hook goes. So I put my thumb where the fish is gonna end up, and then I pull it back and I push the hook through, and it comes up and out the back. And then see, there's a hook right there. You don't want that. So I skin hook it just a little bit, and there is my weightless fluke. Love this bait. It's phenomenal in grass and lily pads. I don't know what they are, but they won't bite. I switched to a Ned rig and it got a couple nibbles, so they might be something small. Oh, it's hard to leave though. Alright, it's been driving me crazy what these fish are. I can't get one to bite, and I just saw this giant shad go by, so I think that's what it is. I think there's a school of giant shad. So this is the boat channel to the actual Lake Erie, and look how calm it is. When it's calm like this, I like to be brave and stick my nose out. Just the nose. Now we're out on the big lake. We're out on the big Lake Erie. So as much as it's tempting to like kind of play along the shoreline and explore out on the big lake, you know, be all brave, this is not tournament eligible water for my Ohio kayak fishing tournament that I'm practicing for. So I need to get back in the harbors and practice on stuff that's actually going to help me on Saturday and in the future for future tournaments. Big pike. this guy. Wow, it's hard to make myself stop, but I really need to quit. So I think I'm gonna start making my way back to the ramp. There's so much to be learned out here. I think it's funny that I thought I was gonna hit East Harbor for like 2 days and learn East Harbor and then go over and learn West Harbor, but I could spend a month out here just finding hidden rocks, like just going back and forth and figuring this place out. I've always mocked it for being like a big, shallow bowl, you know, like what is there, big shallow bowl? And all we do is run around and find grass edges. But this challenge of figuring it out with no grass is so awesome. So, all right, I am so tired. I've been on the water for 10 hours. 10 hours. Okay. Well, that wraps up my Monday out on the water. I managed to stay out for about 10.5 hours today. I just really got into it and I kept thinking, man, if I leave, I'm gonna miss the opportunity to find one more thing. And then after a while, I realized that my body was saying, oh my gosh, like stop. So I just chugged a bunch of water and now I gotta go figure out the food situation. I've been trying to eat healthy snacks on the boat because I used to bring junk food all the time. So I brought carrot chips this time. That was fun. Like, you know, you can come pick them up like that, but now I'm gonna find some real food. So today's accomplishment was, I think I finally figured out how to use the side scan and started a little bit on down scan. I like side scan, I get it now. I mean, I get the advantage, and I think I finally understand pre-fishing. You know, I think I finally understand, like I went out and I found drop-offs and rocks and logs and trees, and sometimes I just found random piles of fish. Now today I didn't get any of them to bite, but I marked where they are, and maybe when they're in a better mood they'll bite for me. So I'm developing a plan for Saturday for the Ohio Kayak Fishing Tournament. I've got a whole bunch of waypoints now where I found stuff out there in what I always thought was just a big grass flat, and I think maybe the best idea will just be going like pedal around, like just keep moving, circle around like from waypoint to waypoint. So speaking of which, it's been awesome to be able to do back to back to back on the water because I've never got a chance to be out on my kayak 3 days in a row. So this would be awesome if like this was my job and I was conditioning for it, because this would make a big difference. But instead I'm going to go back to my real job, stop pedaling, and then go back the next weekend and pedal again, and my legs are going to be like, oh, I'm so out of shape. So it's the life of a weekend angler though. I do love my Hobie Lynx. It was so helpful out there today. I mean, I don't think there's another kayak that I would have wanted to stay out there for 10.5 hours. I could stand up when I got tired, you know, stretch my legs a little bit, and it's a comfortable kayak, stable, fast, easy to move around, easy to pedal, has like very little part in the water, like very little draft of the hull in the water, so I can kind of go back shallower where other people weren't. So I was exploring, didn't find anything back there, but still fun to explore and check it off. So thank you, Strictly Sail Kayak, for getting me that amazing Hobie Lynx, and thank you guys for watching. I will see you out on the water on the next one.